Hi, I'm Ray with IRBIS HVAC. I'm here with one of our clients, Blaze, and what we've done here is pretty exciting. We've installed a very advanced system. It's a combination of a heat pump water heater, a heat pump air handler, and it also uses hydronic heating as well. The system is definitely next level. Let's go take a look. I'm very excited to show you a heat pump system that's pulled out all the stops. If we take a closer look right here, this is a basic diagram. We have a 119-gallon storage tank that's going to be storing hot water. The heat pump is heating the water that's being stored in the tank. Now, because this tank is storing so much hot water, it also gives us the ability, if you look at the lines here, they run all the way up into the attic, and now we can heat your home using the hot water this produces, and we can also heat your water with the hot water this produces. So we have a combination where this system is providing every single efficiency option available. The air handler has night cooling, where it's actually going to be able to bring in cold air at night when it's going to be more effective and more efficient to do so. In addition to that, we can use electricity during the day to cool your home when that's going to be the most efficient method to keep your house cool, because it is also connected to a heat pump outside. When I say this is the future, this is where the technology is headed. We want to make sure we keep it in this nice thick blanket. It also has this protective layer over on it to make sure that we keep this tank as warm as possible for as long as possible. If we come over here, this is not solely for aesthetics. This is actually serving as an insulating factor as well. So this is going to prevent the cold air from coming in outside. It's going to be an additional layer of insulation. We want to make sure that we keep this unit nice and warm and keep maximizing our efficiency.
So one thing that's really cool about this system is that when you combine it with solar, this thing actually qualifies as a solar battery. So during the day, I can use the sunlight to heat up the water, and then that heat that I produce during the day can be used at night to heat the house. So that gets it to qualify for the solar battery federal discount, which is great for my pocket.
So we showed you the heat pump water heater tank that was inside. Now this is what's powering it. This unit uses CO2 as a refrigerant. In addition to that, as you can hear, this unit is actually running right now. Whisper quiet. Not only is it providing warm water to your home at a much better rate than using gas, it's much more efficient. And as you can see here, the system's nice and quiet, fits in small areas, and this is definitely where the future's headed. So we look over here, this is what we call a service disconnect. So we ran the circuits over here. This circuit here is powering this unit right here. This is the heat pump. So this unit is going to be doing the heating and the cooling for the home. It is also a variable speed. In addition to that, we have the sand CO2 that's connected here to another 240 circuit, and that's how it's heating the water. So this right here is to make sure when one of our guys wants to work on anything, it's nice and safe. We can turn the power off at this location, and then you also have an additional service disconnect if you need to work directly on the unit.
The IRBIS technicians were all really polite. If I had something I wanted them to do, I just had to ask, and they were happy to tweak things and make it just the way I wanted. They did a good job of keeping the house in good shape. Like every day they'd roll out their carpets and use that to avoid tracking dirt in the house, and then every evening they'd carry them all off so that it didn't feel like we were in a construction zone overnight.
All right, you think your house is cool. Let's take a look at how powerful the system really is. We got it down to 20 degrees in here. I'm just kidding. This is Celsius. So if we take a look at this unit over here, this is going to be the ecobee. We've had this ecobee in zone 1. We also have another ecobee upstairs that's going to be zone 2. In a 2-story home, it's almost mandatory to install a zoning system. The temperature variations upstairs in comparison to downstairs, typically you're going to be anywhere between 5 upwards of 10 degree difference. And so when you do have that, to maximize efficiency, you want to make sure that when it's hot, you're only cooling the upstairs, and then naturally that cold air is going to drop and keep downstairs cooler, and vice versa in the winter. If we take a look on the second floor, we have a separate thermostat up here. So this thermostat is monitoring the temperature specifically on this floor. We want to locate it near the return. That's where we're going to get the most accurate reading for the temperature. So now we can provide heating or cooling to this specific area of the home based on the temperature that this is. We're pretty familiar with having room sensors added to this. Well, this is actually being controlled by a zone control panel, which will open and close electronic zone dampers. Now this is the air handler. This is how you're getting cold air and warm air through your ductwork system. So now this system, as I mentioned earlier, is very unique. It has two sources of heat. Now the first source we're pretty familiar with. This is the refrigeration lines that are connected to the heat pump. So this will do the heating in the winter, and it will also do the cooling in the summer. So we'll be using the refrigeration process to run through the coil, and it's either going to be removing heat from the house, or it's going to be taking heat from outside and bringing it into the home using the heat pump. Here's one portion of the zone control board. This is what's connected to the actual electronic dampers that are going to open and close based on the demand of the thermostat calling for heating or cooling. And if you look a little bit closer here, we no longer do what used to be referred to as a bypass system. When you would zone it, pressure would build up and you had to do a duct connecting from the return to the supply side. We no longer have to do that. With the zone first system, this is what we call the bypass eliminator. It monitors the static pressure and regulates the dampers to open and close slightly with a slight bleed if the pressure builds up, keeping the airflow nice and smooth, protecting your system, and making sure that everything's working properly. If you really want to see exactly what electronic damper is, this motor right here, there's an actual damper in there, and this opens and closes. And that's how the air is going to get to the area that needs the heating or cooling. So when you're using a zone system, you actually eliminate air to the area that no longer needs heating or cooling. So in a two-story home, you can actually downsize your equipment, making it even more efficient because you're really only cooling or heating one zone at a time. So this is going to drain the water that condenses when it's cooling your home. And this right here is an air gap. It's going to make sure that water flows nice and freely. And we want to make sure that slope is about 1/4 inch per foot to make sure that the water goes out nice and smoothly. Now, if this fails, that's why we have this backup. This float switch will go up, tell the system to turn off, and then we'll get notification and we make sure that we come out to see exactly what's going on. The third safety feature, if this fails and this fails, we have this third option here, which is kind of like the all fail safe. So we'll make sure you don't have any leaks in your attic. We'll keep your home nice and dry and make sure it's nice and warm and cool all year long.
I mean, yeah, the rebates really help. You know, there's a lot of them and they add up. You know, Ray did a really good job at identifying most of the rebates that would work. Yeah, I really liked how IRBIS was on top of the rebates.
Pleasure speaking, everyone. Bye, and stay tuned for more IRBIS projects to come.